Hello there, my very good friends. It's late 2023. 2024 is in like 9 days or something.
9 days!
There you go. What we're going to do today is have a little look ahead at some WWE wrestlers that we think are going to break out in 2024, take their games to the next level. Some of these people are already pretty popular.
Yeah.
Some of them are already pretty great. But we think next year they're going to go all the way to the moon.
Let's do this.
Yeah, let's kick this one off by talking about a pretty obvious one, but a really good one. Number 10, Trick Williams.
Yes.
He has popped off the screen from the moment, leapt off the screen is the term.
Yeah.
From the moment he first showed up on NXT 2.0 in 2021. Carmelo Hayes obviously is fantastic as well. Great wrestler and as a double act. They've complemented each other quite wonderfully because Hayes, obviously, the more experienced, the more refined between the ropes. But Trick Williams' charisma is just completely insane. And, 2023 has certainly brought signs of beginning to break out. He had the really short run with the North American belt.
Yeah.
And obviously the whole angle with him and Carmelo, which has been, 2 years in the making, really.
Yeah.
So maybe he ends up on the main roster this coming year. Even if he doesn't, I think that he's going to be a major player in NXT. Big things in that man's future because he's got things you cannot teach.
Yeah, we always expected big things from Carmelo Hayes. I think my concern with Trick Williams is when they did eventually split, because it's always going to happen, it's WWE, whether or not he was going to have enough to carry him on. Obviously, he's got that charisma. I mean, he made entrances amazing for Carmelo Hayes as part of all that. But yeah, by God, he's really broken out on his own. And just look at that reaction when he wins the North American title. And prior to that, when he comes out, he's going to be a star next year. Really excited to see what comes from him. As well as Lola Vice, our number 9 on this list. The NXT Women's Breakout Tournament winner. A lot of hype surrounding her, and I think it's more than deserved. She's following the footsteps winning the Breakout Tournament of the likes of Carmelo Hayes and Roxanne Perez. No pressure then, but boy can she handle it. I think it's a real shining example of the next in line thing that WWE have adopted, even with bringing in athletes and making them become wrestlers, because I think she's obviously got this MMA background, and sometimes when they go, she's got an MMA background, and then they try and bring that into their wrestling, it doesn't really work. But the Dadleys I was chatting to before I came in here, huge fans of hers. I think she's got excellent grappling ability. Obviously, the strikes can look great with the MMA background, but the grappling side of things, she's just really taken to. I wouldn't be surprised if she wins a world title in NXT or is already taken up to the main roster in 2024.
Very, very quick adaptation, and MMA continues to be a good base for people coming into it. Look, sometimes it goes wrong. Sometimes it does not translate at all, but in quite a lot of cases it really does, and she's obviously the latest example of that. She's been on TV for like 5 minutes and it already feels like she's right at home. So I don't really know how anyone could look at her and not say straight away she's going to be a big star.
Exactly, yeah.
Speaking of which, same division and everything,
What?
a little higher up it, number 8, Tiffany Stratton.
Tiffany Stratton.
And again, this one's a little bit obvious, but that doesn't make it any less valid, Tiffany's going to be huge. Obviously, she's been positioned as one of the centerpieces of the NXT women's division, and you can see why. She is probably... is this a fair statement? Probably the most advanced of the next in line signings so far. If anyone has a better example, let us know in the comment section below. But she's taken this like a duck to water, man. She's flown straight in, just like a duck, I guess. She's quacked up the rankings, and she won the belt and held it for a long time. But no, she's a natural. She's a natural TV star. So many aspects of her performance are way ahead of her experience level. Great match with Becky.
Oh, sensational.
Best of her career so far, the Plunder fight. On the premium live event. Do we classify them as that for NXT?
Yeah, technically. I think it happened on a weekend, so we'll allow it.
Yeah, that's the definition. Is it on the weekend? Then it's premium. But yeah, Tiffany's going to be a main roster megastar. I wouldn't be surprised if she had one of the big belts by the end of the year.
One of my favourite finishes in wrestling, the prettiest moonsault ever. I think, there were concerns when she initially broke onto the scene in NXT that it was going to be a kind of one-dimensional daddy's girl gimmick, but it's expanded far beyond that. She's showcased her phenomenal in-ring abilities. Like you say, a long reign with the world title. I'd get her on the main roster tomorrow if it was me. And yeah, I think just a real showcase against Becky Lynch. I mean, Becky Lynch could make me look good, but that was really next level stuff for Tiffany Stratton, and a sign of things to come on the main roster, I hope. Right, let's talk about someone else who I hope moves up to the main roster soon. Whoa! Where's my mustache gone?
Hi there, future Andy and future Wilborn here. Cutting in, because since we've recorded this video, unfortunately, we originally had Wesley here at number 7, and it now looks like he's going to be injured for a very long time, unfortunately.
Yeah, 8 to 10 months, I believe. Get well soon, Wesley. So in his place, number 7, his brother, Dragon Lee.
You can never have too many Lees.
Indeed. Look, Dragon Lee has been sensational down in NXT for quite some time now, and they've obviously slowly transitioned him up to the main roster. Yes, he lost to Santos Escobar at Survivor Series, but that doesn't seem to have stopped his momentum. He's had some absolute rippers on the main roster, working likes of Cedric Alexander and Axiom, I believe. And I just think, he's been given the endorsement of Rey Mysterio. I think they clearly do have big plans for him in 2024.
And the crowds are really warming up to him as well. Like they've done a good job of just presenting him as weekly guy who has great matches every single week in his spot. I think Dragon Lee is the truth. As far as like wrestling goes, he's one of the best in the company. And if they find the right stories, the right direction for him, he's gonna pop through the roof. Yeah,
he's someone you are just desperate to see in a live setting, isn't he?
Yeah, man. And I've never seen him live, but I sure would enjoy that. And look for him to do big things in 2024. And again, get well, Wesley.
Yeah, get well, Wesley. Best luck to Dragon Lee, and lots of love for their other brother, Brocco. Back to the list.
The Creed brothers are at number 6.
Yes!
There you go. That's how you save that.
Get it back on track, Andy.
We are moving up to the main roster for the first time on the video. They, at the time of recording, kind of just arrived there.
Yep.
And they've been kicking ass. And this is another act that, from the moment they arrived in NXT 2.0, they looked a cut above. Like a real cut above. That first match they had where they were slapping each other in the face, just the purest meathead energy that I've seen in WWE for a long, long time. And they've both really grown as well. I love Brutus. He's a little meatball of a man, just using his body as a projectile in every single way possible.
He's gonna shatter his ankles doing that Brutus ball, but I'm gonna enjoy
that.
Enjoy
the ankles are made of titanium or something. And Judas, I think people are on the money when they pinpoint him as a future single star. That being said, I would not split them for a very long time if Judas is going to become a single star. Judas. Have I called him Judas like 5 times?
Yes.
Who am I thinking of?
I don't know.
Judas.
Hey, that's when he turns on Brutus, you bloody Judas.
Judas Creed. You know what? In normal circumstances, I would restart this. I don't care.
No.
Judas.
I really like both of these guys. Julius has been earmarked by Sidge for a long time. I think we did a draft like half a year ago, and he was already saying if I was going to pick my own roster, I'd pick him. But like you say, I wouldn't split them apart. I'd put tag team gold on them, maybe even at WrestleMania. I think they are that good, and I think it's one of those. Yeah, they had that really impactful debut on NXT. They were awesome down there. Can they transition to the main roster? They did it. The first match they had, you were a huge fan of theirs when you saw that against. Who did they face? Alpha Academy.
Since day one, Judas has been in my mind.
Let's move on to number 5, and that's Braun Breaker.
His name's Brian?
He got beaten up by Taker, so there you go. Yeah. That's a real sign of... Yeah. No, he's been brilliant. He's someone who probably was on our list in 2022 for 2023 in terms of moving up. I think a lot of people assumed he was going to head there in the early stages of 2023. What actually happened is he was kept down on NXT, and you thought, he's dropped the title now, what are they going to do with him? They turned him heel, and it was incredible.
Yeah.
Like, he's Steiner blood, he's got all that mad energy. He has the best spear in wrestling.
I agree.
He cuts people in half with it. You don't really need to do a lot when he moves up to the main roster for that. It doesn't even have to be like a Colin Delaney style. Colin Delaney style figure. He cuts in half. It can be big guys as well. He wrecks dudes with that spear. He clearly has worked as a babyface for years on NXT, and then this run as a heel, I think it vindicated WWE's decision to keep him down in NXT to have him do this run. But yeah, next year get him up there on the main roster and have him cut dudes in half.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you got the Paul Heyman connection. You can,
Of course,
you
yeah.
can absolutely exploit now as well. I think he's improved a lot in 2023. Now that he sucked, he was clearly very good from day one, but he's refined his act.
I think
a hell of a lot.
It speaks volumes that we're getting questions on the news about him working Brock at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
So
Oh my god, that would be delicious. He could be Brock's successor.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's a bit of a different style. You know, Brock has obviously cultivated this special attraction aura over the years. But, you know, you can't really do that when you're like 24 or whatever Braun Breaker is. And that takes time. So, yeah, the future is very bright indeed. I would have him debut by spearing someone through the blooming wall. Like,
Yeah.
Remember when Big Bob and Braun did that on an episode of Raw and Corey Graves said, holy sh...
Yes.
I was like, oh my goodness. That was sick. Do that. Just do that again. Hell yeah. Why not?
I don't know who it would be. I'm not going to say it's cruel.
Yeah, it's mean.
Let you know who you'd like it to be in the comments.
How about number 4, Chad Gable?
Oh, please no.
Speaking of people who've been on the... Right, Chad Gable. We do this list every year, at least on the website, not always on YouTube. I think Chad Gable has probably been on it about 7 times.
Yeah.
But it might actually happen now.
Yeah, he's not Shorty G or any of that bollocks.
Yeah, so very, very good 2023. Obviously, Alpha Academy is a fun act. It's always been a fun act. They've added Maxine, who's been great. They've added Akira Tozawa, who wears t-shirts who are too big for him. And they've expanded their group, and they remain like a fun fixture. The shoosh is over and all of that. But more than anything else, the past couple of years, they've just let him wrestle really well. And that's nice to see. He has a long list of like little 7-8 minute bangers, like little condensed, really great TV matches. But he's really been able to spread his wings and show you what he can do, or remind you what he can do, because we always knew he was great in the Gunther series. So if they take that thread and they expanded it and knit a nice little jumper with the thread, they will craft a lovely tapestry of pro wrestling that will elevate Chad Gable out of the discount rack and into Harrods. Do you like that? Do you like
I like that a lot. It feels weird to have him on this breakout list with like NXT stars, but you're right, he's been bubbling under the surface. We've all known that he could have done it 5 years ago, for example, but it now feels like everything's aligning for WWE to get behind him, to push him. The crowd reaction's there. He does stuff that makes my jaw drop in the ring, and yeah, I smell gold in his future. Can you smell gold? I don't know.
Yeah. No.
I'll tell you who else might be getting gold in 2024. Zoe Stark, who's on number 3. I think she had a brilliant year, of course. A really clever decision to align her with Trish Stratus and then eventually have her, go over her, or at least use her as a springboard to greater things. She had so much potential down in NXT. Another one of those people who kind of backs up all her other entries of, it's all right now stepping up from NXT to the main roster. I saw her compared as WWE's version of Jamie Hayter, and I think that's a really good comparison. I think that's something that she could easily execute in 2024. Yeah, championships are coming for her, and she's just great. I think was it the Rumble this year that she popped up in?
I think my memory doesn't work.
I think her and Roxanne were in the 2023 Rumble, if I'm right in thinking that, and I think that's a real seal of approval. Best of luck.
Good luck, Zoe Stark. I've been a big fan of from day one.
I bought myself with the seal.
All right. Speaking of, I don't know, people who make noises. Chase U, number 2.
Chase U! I love this stable.
Chase U at number 2. Look, it's my entry, but I'm going to let you do most of the talking because of this reaction. Very expressive human beings.
Yes.
Very expressive human beings, especially via hail. Do it, man.
Chase U are, and you know my love for Tony D and the family and Stacks and what have you. Chase U are still up there as one of the best stables in NXT because they're just this ragtag group of people who you think, sorry, you're going to give them a university gimmick, but by God have they made it work. Thea Hale, protect her at all costs. One of the purest baby faces in the business. She's awesome. And I can't wait to see what she does next. Duke Bloody Hudson, he's had about 20 gimmicks, right? He was Vink for a bit.
Yeah, he was.
He has, and this is Michael Sidgwick approved, one of the best hot tags in the industry. He fires up like nobody's business, and then we get to the Don of Chase U, Andre Chase. His skits pop me every single time. He's got the Chase U section of the audience. That'd definitely become a thing if they put that on the main roster. I don't know what they will do with them in the future on the main roster or in NXT, but if you're not watching NXT, you should just for Chase U. They are great.
There you go.
And tell you what else you should be watching NXT for. Our number one entry, Von Wagner. Now this, for people who listen to the podcast, What Culture Wrestling, wherever you get your podcasts from.
This is an unhinged pick.
Is someone incredibly close to our heart because Von Wagner was, how can I put this?
He was bad.
An interesting character.
Yeah.
Doing a couple of 12-ounce curls with Kyle O'Reilly in the dark days of NXT, in some people's eyes at least. The fact that they have transformed him into a beloved character, a sympathetic monster, utilising real-life stuff that happened to him, I should point out, is a vindication of HBK being Booker of the Year, right? I love me some Von Wagner. Like, people bought into the whole Bron Breakker killing him on NXT until they went, oh no, here's another angle, he's absolutely fine. That got a lot of coverage.
Yeah.
His pairing with Robert Stone is majestic. He has managed to get the phrase getting tabled over as a thing. Von Wagner is your one to watch in 2024. All the best for him. All the best for everyone on this list. Watch out, because there's going to be major stars coming your way next year.
He's also very large, and he's a second generation guy as well.
Give him the Beverly Brothers theme, for Christ's sake, WWE, just do it.
So he's got a couple
Just do it.
He's got a couple of old Vince chestnuts going from there as well. Quite the transformation, because in the early days of NXT, he looked rubbish.
Yes.
Like, he looked completely lost and out of his depth.
He looked like their classic, you're 7 foot tall, you can't really work, but you're 7 foot tall, so...
Go and hang out with Kyle O'Reilly in a forest. But, like, the joy of watching young wrestlers is watching them start kind of bad and then get kind of good. Like, that's part of the fun of this whole thing, is following people on their journey, and I don't think many people exemplify that quite as well as Big Von Wagner.
I love him so much. Did we miss anyone out? Let us know in the comments. But yeah, very exciting times for WWE in 2024.
Happy Christmas.
Bye.
Bye.